What's up, guys? From the new Seed Freedom movie, we've got the HG Rising Freedom we're going to take a look at here today. That is right side up, right? Yes, okay. We're going to be taking a look at this kit here today. It's the new version of the Freedom Gundam with quite a lot of new parts and quite a lot of stickers, as I've heard, but we'll see how bad that all is. Overall, I think the kit is probably going to be really cool and a lot of fun, actually, to be honest. So let's go ahead and check it out here for today's video. All right, so we'll check out the box art here. Just want to also note that the box is kind of like busting at the seams there. It's very full, can't even close the box all the way. So there's a lot of stuff in here, I guess. And yeah, with some really cool artwork here on the front with the Gundam, and then also the Gundam transformed there in the background as well. Kind of interesting art style here for this. I just want to take a moment to point out as well, as it's definitely a little bit slightly different than usual. Just like the painting, the kind of shine and the colors there, just a little bit different. If you guys see a lot of box art, I don't know if you guys also agree. Just to me, it looks a little bit different than usual. Here on the ends of the box, we just got the same thing with the black background there. And interesting to point out, this is 243, so this is going to be counted in the kind of HG line. It's the HGUC primarily, but we have some other HG kits that are going to be as a part of that kind of main HG line there, so 243. And then here on the bottom of the box, we got the Seed action system here, showing off some of the articulation points, the neck, shoulder, the body. Here we have a cool action pose with the wings, and of course the beam spam pose there that everyone loves. We got the shield, which has some new beam gimmicks built into that as well, and some other poses over here showing some of the other gimmicks. And as you can see, we just have a ton of stuff in here. And then of course there it is, changed into the transformed mode. Not too sure if I'm convinced on the transformed mode, but we'll take a look at that soon enough. Here is the unpainted state. Interesting that it's just this very close-up image of the unpainted state, showing off probably the best part in terms of the like part separation and color separation. Interesting that they didn't include the wings, and usually it's like a full body shot, so I think that's kind of telling maybe there. But here's the front and rear of the fully painted kit. A little bit over here about the story. And with that, let's pop the top on this thing, and woo, right off the bat, yeah, there's that sticker sheet. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's a big sticker sheet. You don't have to use them, but we'll see how those are in the review. For the front of the manual here, we have the box art, which seems like a little bit more full version, vertically anyway. There at the top, we got a little bit about the story here in Japanese and in English, as well as about the Rising Freedom Gundam here as well in Japanese and in English. And then Compass down here, which I guess is the new faction here that we have. So it's a little bit about that in Japanese and in English as well. On the back side, a whole bunch of images of the different features and gimmicks, everything like we saw basically on the outside of the box. There's all of that, and then the Seed action system again right down there. The color guide is there along the bottom. On the inside front page, we have a color version of the parts list, which is very nice. Got that right there. And all of the construction is just going to be in black and white all throughout here. Getting to the weapons and the transformation here, it looks like the transformation for the mobile armor form is going to be here in color as well on the very last page. And that's it. Taking a closer look at this very large sticker sheet, you can see a whole bunch of stuff on here. Some expected things like eyes and cameras, a couple of smaller color correcting stickers there, and then getting to a little bit more and a little bit more, and then whoa, all these big white stripes that are going to be going on the wings, I think is where primarily most of those are going to go. These probably go on the shield. But yeah, a pretty extensive sheet of foil stickers here. But all right, no polycaps, so we can get right into the runners here, starting off with runner A. We've got one yellow part up there, some red across the bottom, white here primarily, and then a couple of clear blue parts. You can see the clear blue looks very similar to like we saw with like the Shin Burning Gundam, how it has that really cool effect to the clear part, which looks fantastic. So that looks really cool. Whereas B1 and B2 are the rest of our white parts here. As you can see, it's a copy of that section with some more parts, looks like primarily for the head there on B1. Whereas C1 and C2 are here in blue. Again, this section copied, and a couple of parts here on C1 there for the torso. Whereas D1 and D2 are here in gray with the middle section doubled there, overlapping, and then with some part-specific parts there on the sides. Whereas E1 and E2 are here in dark blue, if you're picking up a theme on how the runners are laid out with everything doubled, and then having the extra part here for the shield in this case. Then lastly, we've got runners F1 and F2. F1 is some parts here in light gray. F2 is obviously going to be our clear pink beam effect parts for the beam sabers, and also for the shield effect parts there as well. Very cool. All right, let's get it built up. Alright, here is how the finished kit is going to look now, mostly finished. Now I like to show these kits to you guys in the review videos like as they are meant to be straight out of the box. In this case, I didn't put all of those stickers on yet. I wanted to show you guys what it looks like without all the big mass of stickers on the backpack in particular. I did put a few of the stickers on around on the kit, but all of the ones that go on the backpack mostly I left off just so that you guys can see how this is going to look. If you do opt to not want to use all those stickers on the backpack for all the white lining, I think it looks pretty good like this as it is. I will go ahead and throw those stickers on here in a minute so that you guys can see the difference between how it's going to look with and without them on, but let's just first take a quick look at the accessories. And first off, real quick, as you can see, the kit can stand on its own though with that backpack. Obviously it's going to be a little bit back heavy, it's a little bit kind of treacherous, it's going to fall over really easily. So having an action base is a good idea. It's not included as one of the accessories we have here, so I would just highly recommend getting one. That said, we do have this action base adapter. This is going to be for when you have it in the transformed mode. Otherwise, for just the mobile suit mode, you're going to plug the action base right there in the normal spot up underneath the hip section. We've got our two clear pink beam saber effect parts here for the beam saber handles, which are stored on the side skirts right here. And one thing I do like about this is that this section, which holds the beam saber handle, doesn't rotate. On other kits with the similar kind of design, a lot of times this part would rotate, and that can be nice sometimes, but it's just like one more moving part that doesn't really need to move. So I kind of like that that's just fixed right there, but if you wanted to be able to rotate this, just keep in mind that it can't do that. So you're just gonna pop off the handle, and then you've got your beam saber handle. Now, the other thing you'll notice with this is that the beam saber handles can be interlocked together, and with that you can make a dual-ended beam saber like this. Very cool. We've also got its shield here, which has a connection piece which will attach onto the side of the arm. This handle is just a molded in detail. It's not actually anything that is functional there, as you can see, but we do have some functional kind of moving parts on this, as again for the transformation, these red parts will slide up and down to reveal basically like a connection point up inside of there. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep that closed like that. And then on the sides here, these little fins will kind of stick out like this, and then we have effect parts for in there also. You plug those in, those are gonna look something like that, more clear pink beam effect parts for those parts of the shield there, as well as an additional beam effect which is going to plug right in here into the front for when this is flying off on its own there like that. So not only do you have like the leading edges over here on the sides with the beam effect, you also have this point sticking out the front right there. And one more beam effect part that we're going to have here is of course for the beam shield, and like I said in the unboxing, I really like the look of this. I think they did, it looks like to be the same effect that was used on the HG Shin Burning Gundam to give it this really cool effect to that. Now, in order to use this, if you've ever had any other HG Seed kit with a similar beam shield, it's going to work in the same way. You have to remove that red part off the side of the arm here, kind of just like the Destiny Gundam, and then you're going to plug this shield effect in here, right, like that, and it's going to give the effect of the beam kind of emitting out of the side of the gauntlet there on the side of the arm, which is really cool. Now, ultimately, you would be able to do this on both arms, but we only have one of this effect part. That said, if you got two of the kit and you wanted to have like two beam shields, you could absolutely do that if you wanted to. Last couple things then you'll notice for the hands here, we just have these regular holding hands. We do have, fortunately, the addition of one additional hand here, and it's just a open expressive hand for the left side only, so it's nice to have that included at least as some sort of extra hand in there. And then our last accessory here is just going to be the beam rifle. Now the beam rifle has a really cool design and some really nice color separation on this. If you'll notice, the secondary handle here does move up and down, but otherwise, yeah, just these cutouts in the white parts to allow you to see some of the gray inside part there poking out through these kind of vent detail kind of little sections, and this little kind of gray wire bit there. It's a separated part. All the blue you're seeing on there, however, that is just going to be a sticker. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blue stickers just here on the beam rifle itself, but that does give you that kind of camera effect up there on the top, and then all these blue accents. Honestly, that's all just covering up white plastic. I think it looks good in just white and gray without all the blue accents on there if you want to opt to not use those. You'll also notice this connection point right here on the side of the rifle, and that's going to allow you to plug this for storage up underneath the wings and up underneath everything else you'll find here on the back skirt. There's a connection point right there for storing the rifle when not in use. So that's it for all of the accessories. I want to talk a little bit about the kit, and then I'm going to throw the stickers on and we'll take a look at some posing with it. But just as far as the construction of the kit goes, it is really, really nice in terms of just the color separation, the part separation. Everything is molded in a way to make the seam lines very, very minimal on here for one, and also the color separation is going to make it very easy to paint, especially up here on the head. You can see just the separation of the off-white parts there and the white parts of the head. Obviously our different parts there for the V-fin. We have a couple of stickers for the head cameras up there, for the eyes. Around here on the back of the head, there's a sticker right at like the back top, and then another sticker at the very back of the head for some more camera details. While we're on the note of the stickers that I do have on here so far, there is another sticker right here at the center of the backpack that I threw on there, just that red and metallic blue one there for that sticker. And there's a couple of bits that I also threw the stickers on just because I thought it was going to be difficult to do so later. These little fold out blue wings on the center of the backpack that again are part of the transformation. That's a white sticker on a blue part. I went ahead and threw those on there. And then we have the same kind of thing here on the back of the leg, little wings that are going to fold out. There's white stickers on those blue fold out parts. But again, the color separation of everything here, even to like these gray vents at the front, and pretty much everywhere where there would be a seam line is just made up as a panel line detail, except for a couple little bits like here and there right in the middle of the shin. It's like there's a panel line that goes down to there and then it continues, but it doesn't continue all the way through the part, which is kind of odd. We also have that here at the back, at the top and bottom of this part where that wing part folds out of the back of the leg. There's kind of a little bit of what you could consider a seam line there at the top and the bottom, not directly under that part though. So it's kind of an odd use of details to hide the seams in some areas and some areas not. That said, one really clever use of hiding the seam is here on the head. This is really ingenious, and I really wish that Bandai would have figured this out a long time ago. And it's done pretty well in this case, although not perfectly, but hiding the seam line between the front and back half of the head as a just kind of detailed line. And a lot of times on HG kits, it's just a straight line straight through the side of the head and just two front and back halves that just kind of meet right in the middle. This one here, it meets in a way that looks like just like a panel line detail, at least there on the side of the cheek. For like the top portion of the head there, it does look a bit like a seam line that you're probably going to want to maybe close up for the best looking effect, but some really nice part separation and everything here. Let's talk a little bit about some of the articulation. The head will go up nice and far, all the way up to there, all the way down to there. Plenty of articulation here at the neck. The torso section has a really nice bend forward and back here as well. Plenty of articulation there. Side to side also, you have some really nice movement here. So that looks really good. The shoulder joint will swing all the way out to the front for a really good range of movement there. This part here, this vent at like the side of the shoulder armor, that will move up and down slightly. The whole shoulder armor itself can move up, and you can bring the arm up all the way to that. The shoulder armor is going to be kind of colliding with the head a bit there, is going to be your issue, but you can bring the arm up plenty vertically. You can rotate that at the bicep. We have a double joint at the elbow for a full range of articulation there. And then the wrist is just on a ball joint here, so nice range of movement there. Our front skirts are molded together, but you can snip them apart in the center for individual articulation. Easy. And then up underneath the front skirts there and the back skirts, not really too much in the way of detail there, unfortunately. But as you can see, no issue with the articulation of those moving up and out of the way. Here on the side skirts, of course, we have our rail guns, which will fold out, so you can extend the front and back parts up and out like that. This front part will also then extend to the front like so. And again, really nice color separation of everything. That's red and gray separate parts there. No stickers around on this section, so that all works really nicely. These, when not extended out, can be moved up and down. You can, it's on a ball joint, so you can kind of rotate it side to side or front and back a little bit. And I think it's probably not going to be getting in the way too much. You can still get the legs at a pretty wide angle without running into these side skirt parts. You could also angle them back slightly if you were having an issue with that, to get plenty of range of movement of the legs out to the side. The back skirt is just fixed in place, so no movement there. And I want to remove the leg and the side skirt armor here just to show you guys the hip joint. It's a kind of new connection that we have here for this, that the peg for connecting the leg will slide up and down here on this track. So it works in a very similar way to hip articulation points that we've seen before on high grades, but it's a little bit different mechanism than what we typically see. That said, the rest of the leg is going to work pretty normally. You can bring it up nice and far. Double joint at the knee for a pretty good range of movement there. No separation of this knee armor, and the leg doesn't go all the way back to like 180 degrees, but that's a pretty good range there. At the ankles, you can move the ankles really far side to side with no issues. This ankle armor is going to be floating connected there at the back of the ankle joint, and the toe does also move independently, so you can bring the foot all the way up to the front to there, all the way back, and then point the toe down up underneath the feet. Full detail here, no hollow gaps, which is always nice to see. And then coming back around to the backpack, this center part there, as you were just seeing, can move up and down. That's just for the transformation, which we'll see in just a moment. And going out from the middle, then these blue sections can also move up and down. You can also angle these out side to side a little bit there. And then the main wings can rotate. You can rotate these forward and back, up and down, and it's made up of a few different sections here, which can of course be separated to get the full effect. The actual cannons here will rotate up, and you can bend the angle of that a little bit so that when you set the wings back and bring that down over the shoulder, it's able to point straight ahead as you would imagine if it's actually firing that cannon over the shoulder and straight ahead in the line of sight, and that looks really good. So really nice range of movement here. As far as the articulation goes for this kit, it's pretty much perfect. And so with that, let's take a look at some different poses here with this kit. The transformation is interesting. I don't think it's anything that I don't know if anyone's too really hyped over. The transformation doesn't look that great. It's an interesting gimmick for sure, so it's nice to add some kind of play value to the kit. It gives you something else that you can, in theory, do with it. Although I don't think that anyone would necessarily blame you if you opt not to mess around with the transformation. I don't know, it's not really that cool looking, but the mobile suit itself does look great, and whether you choose to have the stickers on, as it is displayed now, or the stickers off, as I think I would definitely prefer it, it is going to be a kit that is going to look fantastic straight out of the box, either with or without those stickers, just because of the quality of the part separation and molding and everything that you have. It's just going to be a great looking kit straight out of the box with nothing else done on it, which is always nice to see. And I think between the use of all the different weapons and accessories we have built into this, with the beam rifle, the beam sabers, the shield, the beam shield, the shield boomerang, the over-the-shoulder cannons from the backpack, the railguns from the side skirts, everything else, you have a lot of stuff that you can do with this kit, so it definitely has a ton of value built into this one, I think. And again, just the base kit itself, even omitting all of that other stuff, is just a really good quality kit in terms of the articulation, the stability of it. It's nice and solid. You don't have any loose parts or anything like that anywhere. And although the coloring is not perfect straight out of the box, it is really nice, especially considering that this is an HG kit. So HGs have certainly come a long way. A lot of people have been saying in the recent years that the RGs feel like mini master grades in a way. While building this one, I honestly had this similar kind of feeling, like in a way it's starting to feel like even HGs are getting close to feeling like mini master grades in some cases. So this is definitely an example of one that's kind of getting close to that. And on one final note that I think is interesting about this kit is that I think in terms of just the overall proportions and design of this, it's really kind of cool how they kept it pretty close to the original Okawara design. A lot of times, even on Okawara designed Gundams, they really modernize it and they kind of really get away from the Okawara proportions, which is fine. I actually don't like the Okawara proportions, so that's perfectly fine by me. But in this case, they kind of kept it with having a little bit larger head, like very wide shoulders, a little bit more kind of stocky shape overall, especially when it's just in a standing pose. But once you get it into a more dynamic sort of action pose, you don't really see that quite so much. So for me, as someone who doesn't really like those type of proportions, it doesn't bother me so much, because once you get it into an action pose, you kind of lose that effect a little bit. But if you were a fan of that proportion styling, then I think that's something else that you might enjoy about this kit. So let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think about this one? It's pretty awesome. Looking forward to checking out the Immortal Justice coming up next as well. And as always, guys, if you want to check out the kit for yourself, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got this kit and a bunch of other Gundam kits, paints, tools, supplies, and everything else you guys might be in the mood for. So check out that link. And if you guys would also leave a like, make sure that you're subscribed, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts on the kit. I really appreciate all your guys' support. Thank you so much. Until next time, hope you all have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.